If you're sending out quotes but not closing deals, the problem is usually not the price. In this video, I'm going to break down the real reason why quotes stall out and how you can turn more of them into actual revenue. What's up, guys? I'm Kyle Milan with Milan Media, and for the last 20 plus years, I've been helping sales teams turn deals into revenue, and I'm still seeing a lot of the same stuff. It's no different in 2026 than it was 20 years ago, and this is a problem that is killing a lot of companies. When you look at your close percentage, if it is below what you think is good, and what I would say is good is 25, 35, 40% in that range is a good close percentage. If your numbers are below that, then you need to pay attention to this video, because I'm going to uncover the areas that possibly could be causing you massive backlash into why your close rate basically sucks. So the first area is going to be speed. How fast are you quoting people? And there's pros and cons to each. So you want to be fast enough to respond, because first mover's advantage. Somebody comes to you and says, hey, I'm looking for pricing for X, Y, and Z. Do you make it easy for them? Get them back pricing, because maybe they're making a quick decision. Maybe you did some outreach and some outbound activity and got them in. They're already like 75% of the way done with the process. They're about to pick their solution and you're coming in last minute. You have to move quickly. Or if they're at the beginning of their process, you're setting the tone. Somebody says, hey, I'm looking for a solution to this problem and I want pricing from you, and you get them back that quote within 1 day versus within 1 week. That's a big difference. So if you can do it in a day, same day, or a day and a half, that's going to be better, because you're setting the tone for everybody else. Maybe they haven't had conversations with anybody else at this point, and you're like, damn, those guys already got that price back to you. That's sick. Now, on the flip side of it, sometimes your speed can kill you because you're quoting too quick. So is the deal ready to move to the quoting stage? Or are you just like, oh yeah, you're interested in this? Let me send you pricing. Boom, send pricing. That can also kill the conversion rate from quoted deals into closed business. So you have to make sure that the person is looking for pricing, ready for pricing. You've asked enough questions. You've done all the fact finding to really provide a solution that when they get it, they know that you've been paying attention to it, and then move them into quoting. So the goal is not how many quotes can I do a month. No sales manager or owner of a business is like, all right, the goal is 50 quotes a month. And you're like, hey, I hit my 50 quotes. What they care about is those 50 quotes times X close percentage equals this much revenue or closed business. So usually companies say, I want this much money per month as your revenue goal per salesperson and per company. And then from there, how you get there, people really don't care about. They don't care if it takes you 10 quotes or 100 quotes. They prefer less quotes, less opportunities that have a higher dollar amount, because it means less back end, back office type work, and the overhead's going to be less to close those deals or move those deals into actual, like a sale and delivery of the solution. But they always set it based on revenue. So you don't want to be like, yeah, I'm just a quoting machine. I'm sending out all these quotes. So it's good to be fast, but you have to make sure that the speed is there at the right time, to where you're not overly providing quotes and just saying, hey, somebody's interested. Hey, here's pricing. You didn't ask for it, but here it is. I've seen that kill close percentages. Number 2 is going to be clarity. If the quote's too confusing, too technical, not hitting the right spots, not answering the questions that they ask, if it's not providing them with what they want, whether it's too technical, whether it's not technical enough, is it clear? They have this problem. Here's your solution. Here's what the solution includes. Here's the price for the solution, the terms of the solution of payment, and the timeline of when you can provide them with that solution. As long as you cover the main bases of what the clients typically look for, then the clarity is good. But if you are being vague with it, if you're rushing, that's where the speed, again, pros and cons of it. If you're being vague with it, then you can possibly kill the deal right there. If somebody sees it and they're like, I don't even know what this means. You're trying to follow up with them to see if they made a decision. They're like, I don't even understand what you quoted me. That is going to kill it. They're going to say, I don't trust this person. They provided me something that's not what I'm looking for. Therefore, I'm going to go with the people that did provide me the clarity. So keep in mind, most people, when they're shopping for something, it doesn't matter what solution they're looking for. They usually use a few, 2, 3, sometimes even 5 different people that they quote with. So you want to make sure that you're up against competition. Is your quote clear enough? You may think it is, but look at it from their perspective. Is it easy to read, easy to follow, easy to open? Is it easy to be delivered to them? Does it answer all their questions? Is it clear? That is the key. Number 3, trust. It should reduce risk and not just be, do you trust me or not? Listening to their problem and answering the question. Without the trust, there's no way that you could possibly close anything. That is the only thing that's needed in closing a sale. Only thing that's needed in increasing revenue is building trust. That is first and foremost. As long as there's trust there, you can overcome objections, you can overcome pricing issues, you can overcome any sort of problem that's in it if there's trust there. And if your quote doesn't show them that you're building a trust because you didn't listen, then that's going to instantly kill it. And as soon as those trust points start getting taken away and they go from 100% trust down to 80, down to 50, they're just gonna be like, look, this person I don't trust, these other people I do. Again, going back to that competition, 2, 3, 4, 5 different people you're going up against, you need to understand they're trying to build trust too. So your quote has to be clear and also provide that trust so that way they know that you can do what you say you do, and you have some sort of social proof or some sort of reputation references to be able to say, hey, look at this. These other people say that we did a good job. So another way to build trust is just showing social proof to that. Next is going to be follow-up. Most quotes don't die from the initial, hey, I sent you a quote standpoint. Most quotes and deals die from the follow-up. People do not follow up. So when you have the conversation before you even quote, you need to set the tone and set the lay of the land. So you're going to say, hey, I'm going to shoot this quote over to you in 2 days, tomorrow, in a week, whatever the normal time frame is for the complexity of your quotes. I'm going to send this quote over to you. When can we schedule the next meeting so we can review it together? Or when do you expect to have your next internal meeting? What's the next steps in the process for you internally? Oh, I've got to review this. I'm going to review it this week. Then next week on Tuesday, I'm gonna have a meeting with my boss. Okay, perfect. Can I put some time on your calendar right now for Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday or Thursday, and get that next meeting set before you even get off the call, so that way it's on the books. Now, if stuff gets changed after that, hey, they had to cancel because something came up or they're double booked or whatever, that's fine. At least you can then follow up on the fact that you tried setting an appointment and that they missed the meeting, and you can get it rescheduled. But just sending a quote, not planning ahead at those next steps, and then your next step naturally is going to be like, hey, Bob, did you check out that quote that I sent you? Just following up on it. You don't understand the time frame, so it's just going to possibly get missed, and you follow up again, and then deals go into a stalled stage, and then marketing takes over and is like, let me try and get some legs back under this, and it turns into a whole thing. You can avoid all that frustration if you set the first follow-up meeting in the meeting before you quote it. Set that meeting. Make sure you hold them accountable, walk through the quote with them. Some people, depending on your business, you may say, I'm not going to provide you with the quote ahead of time. I'm going to schedule a meeting. Hey, it's going to take me 2 days to do this quote. What does your schedule look like in 3 days for me to show you the quote and walk through it with you? That's a great thing that you can do with clients based on the industry. I've done it numerous times. We've had clients do it numerous times. That way they don't know the price. If they want to see the pricing, they want to see the quote, they have to come into the meeting. It gives you an opportunity to walk them from top to bottom, what's in the quote, walk them through the process, make sure you can handle those objections that initially come back, so it's not just them reading on their own. So it's a powerful tactic if it works for your type of business. If it doesn't, then set that next meeting before you get off the phone. And lastly is going to be the next steps. What are the next steps in the process? What is the time frame? Asking those questions up front. If I give you quote pricing today or tomorrow and we have a meeting next week, where are you guys at in the decision-making process? How quickly are you going to make a decision? Because that is going to, again, dictate your follow-up. If you think that they're making a decision in 3 weeks, but realistically they're not making a decision in 3 months, you're going to start to follow up and get anxious, and then they're going to be like, dude, it's like 3 months away, and they won't respond. There'll be delayed response. So many different things can happen. So understand the next steps, set all those next steps up, understand the total timeline of when it's going to take for you to close this deal. And you may see that you're quoting less deals, but you're closing more because you're moving them into the right stages accordingly based on the time frame of the entire project. You're quoting with clarity, you're building that trust, you're doing the follow-up, you're setting the next steps. All those things in alignment are going to be great to make sure that when you do finally quote somebody, you have a plan. When managers come in and say, hey, I got all these deals in the pipeline, you got 26 deals that are quoted. The close date is set for the end of this month, which ends in 7 days or 17 days. Are all these deals going to close? If you don't set all of those close dates, understand the timeline, then your boss can be like, dude, what's going on? You got all these deals. And then once that close date slips and you're into the next month, and you're like, hey, I got 22 deals from last month. The boss is then going to lose trust with you. Like, you don't know, like, you're just guessing when they're going to make a decision. You never asked them when they're going to make a decision. So getting all that next activity, next steps, and the follow-up set up in the beginning is the best path to make sure that you quote and then close those deals. So if your quotes aren't turning into deals, just understand that most of the time it's not price. It could be speed, clarity, trust. It could be the process, the time frame. Don't get discouraged at the process. As long as you're hitting those key areas, that's going to get you the most success. So just fix those things and give yourself a much better chance of turning deals into actual revenue. So if you got value out of this content, share it with someone that you know. Follow me on LinkedIn and check out some of these other videos.